Hi, it's Thursday, and I want to do something completely different for this particular episode of Cincinnati Dad. I want to review a movie. Now, I have some notes that I will be using on the new phone. I'm filming with the old phone. I watched the movie Dune last night. Now, the first thing I need to do is apologize to Denis Villeneuve. Villeneuve. I need to apologize because I watched it at home on my TV, which is big, but it's really meant to be seen in the movie theater, and I respect that. I was anxious, greedy, I was impatient. I wanted to see the movie, and it was a good night to see it last night. So I went ahead and watched it last night. I do want to see it in the movie theater because that's where it's meant to be seen. Another thing to talk about second, of the big movies that he's made, I've seen several of them. Arrival, it's a work of art. It's an amazing film. The Blade Runner 2049, it's a work of art. It's an amazing film. It is a work of art, that movie. It's just stunning. And Dune, this first episode of Dune, is also just a gorgeous, gorgeous film. It's a beautiful thing to see. So absolutely, I'm going to, spoiler alert, go see the movie. Absolutely go see the movie. Now, I, like him, picked up on these books when I was quite young, have read the series several times. I own all of the original ones, and then there's Chapter House Dune, and then there's one more that I haven't read yet that kind of wraps up some of the other stuff. That's my fault, my family. Doesn't matter for this movie or this review. So let's get to it. So the movie starts establishing context by showing what's happening on ARRAKIS or ARRAKIS. If you're just a reader of the book, to hear that some of these words pronounced doesn't necessarily jive with the way that you grew up thinking of them and hearing them and reading it. And there's been other productions of it that have pronounced it actually some of these things different ways, which I also found interesting as well. So Dune, the planet, ARRAKIS. It starts there. Just providing a little context about what's happening on the planet before the action of the novel starts back on the Paul and Duke Leto, this planet of CALADAN. I like that. I think that's okay because those things are happening kind of contemporaneously, and that's okay. I think using the Chani character to be the voice of that is an interesting choice that I'm not sure I agree with because we don't need to see her yet. She needs to be a part of Paul's dreams. But then it says, is this some of that pre-knowledge that we're getting, some of that context setting a part of Paul's dreams or not? See, we don't really know that. So that's okay. But the series is Dune. The series is not CALADAN. The series is about this planet. So starting the movie on the planet, totally okay with that. The eyes. It's the way that they've been done in every movie, and it just looks fake. As a special effect of drawing in the eyes. There is one scene, the oil bath scene, with Stellan, and his really wonderful performance as Baron Harkonnen or Harkonnen, depending again upon how you imagine the word was pronounced. Where he's in the oil bath, and one of the attendants has like completely blacked out eyes. Now, the description of the book is that's basically what the Fremen, anybody who's got that much spice in them, that their eyes turn navy blue. The whites of your eyes turn navy blue. So the little colorization just doesn't work. Especially now, then later, they show a character whose eyes are kind of blacked out. That's almost the kind of look that the eyes should have had. So that's a fail for me. The CALADAN is the way it's described in the book. It's a beautiful place, and they're going from this beautiful Earth-like planet. And I found the interiors to be a little bit too severe and austere, and not so much coming from this lush sense of beauty to a severe, dry, planet that ARRAKIS is, and also Salusa Secundus, which is where the the Emperor's troops train. That's like a different version of Dune, and they make that comparison in the book. That's why they're both such excellent fighters, because of the way that they're trained and where they live, the harsh conditions of where they live. And Caladan isn't harsh. It's not meant to be harsh. Oh my gosh, Rebecca Ferguson. I can't think of a more perfect actress. I cannot think of a more perfect actress to play the Lady Jessica. However, I do think that allowing her to show as much emotion as they had her show, and her concern for her son and her fear, that's not Lady Jessica-ish to me. That would not be my interpretation. And having, again, the books would indicate that because of her Bene Gesserit training, that doesn't happen. You don't see any of that. And they did try to say these are in her private moments, but my memory of the book, and I just reread the series this year in anticipation of the movie, says to me that that's not accurate to the book character. It's a film, whatever. So they're allowed to do that. Oh, so the dreams, in Paul's dreams, I am surprised that he left out the line, right? The line that Chani says to him.
Tell me of your homeworld, Usul.
Tell me of the waters of your homeworld, Usul, or whatever it is, word for word. They didn't use that at all. I was surprised by that. I would have thought they would have used that line. I really would have, because that's the thing that he says, that she says to him. When it's time for her to say the line, she actually does say it to him, and that kicks off some things that are important dramatically, plot-wise. There's a lot of things where she has to say those words. This was really cool, I thought. And I didn't notice until the second time when the guild ship arrived carrying all of the Sardaukar and the Harkonnens to attack the Duke and his men, and that the end of closer to the end of the movie. I didn't notice until then that the ship itself looked like a worm. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. And obviously, right, because the navigators have to use the spice to be able to see through kind of space and time to successfully navigate interstellar travel without going through a star or anything like that. So that was nicely done. That was a good touch. The film, again, it's a beautiful film to watch. It's just gorgeous. Nice work on the ornithopter, by the way. Also, the ornithopter, or the thopter, is described specifically in the book. The movie makes it look like a dragonfly, which is super cool. And I
was dreaming to have that shape inspired by a dragonfly that would be muscular. And
I just really like that. I really like that. The shield wall, they talk about it in the book. The shield wall, I'm going to have to reread, but so correct me in the comments. In the book, the shield wall is natural rock. It's a natural feature of the landscape that they take advantage of in the building of the city of ARRAKIS, or Arrakeen. I thought, not a physical wall that was constructed of Playas steel, which is the material that's often referred to in the book. That's okay. I didn't think it was man-made though. So I'll check on that, double check on that. Also, so it is just a part one of the movie, part one of the story for sure. Really more than that. I mean, obviously the story goes on and on and on. The other thing that I really, really like too, is the ring reveal, and the parallel of the story, which is done that way in the books as best as you can, where the Duke is performing his final act of sabotage, but his final act, and he's dying. At the same time, they're having Paul unwrap the items that Dr. Yui had left, including the ring, the signet ring, and I thought that was a good bit of filmmaking, not a groundbreaking bit of filmmaking, but I'm just glad they did it the way that they did it. So overall, I really enjoyed the film. I do want to see it on the big screen. Two things I forgot to mention. One, the soundtrack, Hans Zimmer, lots of wonderful, interesting atmospheric things are happening in that. So that is also worthy of mention. And also the one thing that I didn't say anything about is the still suits, which are this body moisture capturing suits that the Fremen have invented and that they wear. I think they're a little busy. I think there's too much going on there, because later in the stories, Paul's son allows sand trout to cover him. It's described as like a weird looking still suit. So the still suits probably don't have all the stuff on the outside of them. They're probably, in his mind at least, were smoother and less busy. But whatever. Okay, again, just a little tiny thing. All right, back to what I was saying earlier. One person's interpretations are different, and I've talked occasionally at little bits about The Lord of the Rings, my other favorite fantasy series. And Dune is more science fiction than fantasy, I would say. And so my feelings about how the movie's being done are different for two reasons. The first reason, so Lord of the Rings is a very visually descriptive book. There are pages and long descriptive passages, and then plenty of dialogue. So I've always felt like it's very filmable in the state that it's already in. And obviously The Hobbit is an abomination. Those movies are they're just wrong. And I have a lot of problems with the Lord of the Rings movies. Although I own them, I love them. I think they're visually, again, stunning. But my problems stem from the fact that if you've got a source material that is so, I think, easily adaptable to screen, because so much of the description, pages and pages of this long book are description, and you can show that in an instant. So it's easy to film that, right? He describes something very clearly. So you create that, you film it, and then just have the characters say the words, and the plot is what the plot is. Dune is very different, and I've always felt like it's unfilmable because so much of the book is internal monologues, internal thoughts. It's the thoughts of the characters, and without having voiceovers, which are so tacky in so many regards, or having characters say things out loud that they're thinking, and then it's the whole stage whisper thing, which is also kind of awkward. It's you can't do it. It's so much of it is internal thoughts and dialogue, like I said, but that means that your adaptation can be an adaptation. Your film can be your creation, and you do get a lot of pick and choose about what you can do, what you can say, and how to reveal the things that are described in the book, because they're things that are described in the characters' minds. And I think they did a pretty good job of that. I really do. So yeah, I would say it's it's a thumbs up for me on the film as a whole. I'm gonna watch it again. I want to go see it in a movie theater, and I'm excited for the second installment. Now, generally, comments too about like casting, just really good. It's always good to see excellent actors doing their job well, and everybody in the movie is really, really quite good. Even Dave. I can't think of Dave's name, who plays Raban. He and I was in a movie with a guy. I was an extra, whatever, but I was in the movie with a guy that was shot here in Cincinnati. You know, the wrestler guy. He was also in Blade Runner, of course. Wow, I can't believe it. Dave Bautista. He is the least trained of the actors on the film, and I think that shows just a little tiny itty bitty bit. But Josh Brolin's great. I don't know the name of the actor that played Thufir Hawat, and he does a great job in that. Again, not physically what I would have expected. That's okay. Really, having watched the movie, the Liet Kynes, I'm not upset that Liet Kynes was a woman so much. It is, I think, an important plot point in the book that he was a man, because clearly it's a patriarchal society, and that was one of the tensions in the book, an intended tension in the book between the patriarchal society that the Fremen were and the matriarchal society of the Bene Gesserit, and how these two had to come together and clash and all that. So I think that was a theme that you're missing if you make that character a female. But the actress, of course, was great, and it worked. It absolutely worked in what they're doing. So Timothy he's fine as Paul. He's the right age for Paul, thank goodness. Kyle MacLachlan, who I think is a great actor, but he was just too old. Much like Elijah Wood, way too young to play Frodo. Way too young to play Frodo. You know, they're all just really, really good. Stellan Skarsgård is just he's great in everything, right? And Oscar Isaac is great in everything. And again, Rebecca Ferguson is probably the most perfect actress of our generation to play the Lady Jessica. Really, really just fantastic. And that she's just the right look. Those, again, for me, the way that I pictured her while reading the book, she did a really good job. Hair color, whatever, but in terms of everything else, really, really good. So we'll have to see how it works out. You know, the Fremen could have been, they'll need to be skinnier, you know, that's the whole thing, that they are, you know, wiry and, you know, the whipcord muscles rather than, you know, bulky at all. Oh, well, you know, you can't make all your actors starve to accurately play these people who are basically Bedouins, right? They're, you know, it's the Middle East. All right, this has gone on much longer than I wanted to, so I'll edit some of it down. I'll see if I can. And I go see the movie, pay to see the movie. If you have HBO Max, great. I just hope your screen is bigger than mine. It's worth it. And Denis Villeneuve he's a filmmaker, and I'm glad we have a filmmaker in our generation right now that's really truly making movies that are beautiful and that are works of art in addition to being just good. So if you haven't seen Arrival, you must see Arrival. And if you haven't seen the Blade Runner 2049 or whatever the year is of the movie, it's a work of art. It absolutely is. And maybe you won't enjoy the plot. I don't know how. I mean, the performances are fantastic. Everybody that's in it is really, really good. It is sad and it is beautiful. So there's Dave's movie review for today. All right, that was too much. It's always too much. We will see you in the next video.